Hey all, welcome to Geek Freaks. I am Frank, and today we're going to be talking with Alan Dunford once again, but this time about Grandma Chainsaw. How are you doing?
I am great. This is what the 5011th time I've been on here.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
and it's the
Okay.
end of our season 3 for Geek Freaks interviews, so I thought, best person to bring on for this, of
What a
course, is Alan.
terrible way to go out.
Oh, we're going to be talking about some murder, folks. That's how we're gonna let you sit with this for a while until
Yes.
January.
Yeah.
And then you know what? I have a feeling we'll be hearing from you soon in that area.
Yeah. Probably. Yeah.
um, so can you kind of break down a little bit what is Grandma Chainsaw? We talked about it before a bit,
Mhm.
but let's get a refresher out there.
Oh, Frank, hang on one second. My thirst. I don't know what's
Oh
happening.
God! Oh, that's
So,
a
oh,
good
mm,
cup.
oh, just like the Geek Freaks podcast, this cup keeps my coffee current and warm. This is
Oh,
awesome. Okay.
guess what? New trailer, folks.
Yeah.
Right there.
So yeah,
Oh man.
if you listened to our episode last time, we were on here talking about Pocus Hocus 4.
Mhm.
Um, so now we finally have the full launch of Grandma Chainsaw, and it pretty much just does what it says on the label, right? it's a,
It
a
really does, yeah.
it's a chainsaw wielding, murdering grandmother, who I guess she's tired of these kids stepping on her lawn, right? It's just it's
Yeah.
it's it's our love letter to movies in this vein. Growing up loving horror and just wacky zany stuff, obviously inspired by Texas Chainsaw Massacre, very on the
Right.
nose. Evil Dead, there's this like Nightmare on Elm Street references, Exorcist 3 references. Like,
Oh, nice.
we
Yeah.
definitely don't shy away from that. We'll definitely get into that later, but yeah. So it's just it's a wild ride, and Frank's had a chance to get an extended preview of it, and
Yeah.
yep.
You guys are doing this with Source Point. You know,
Mhm.
you guys moved over to Source Point a while ago, and how is it working on a second book with them now?
The same as the first, and I mean that obviously best way possible. These guys are so hands off. They just trust the creator, and the support is there. Obviously, we reach out; they're so quick to respond, and if we need anything, they're just awesome, man.
Yeah.
But we're a ways away from Grandma Chainsaw being on comic shelves, because this is going to be a 4-issue mini, and
Hmm.
we are just completing the first one now. So we got a little bit, and we're obviously trying to keep the hype and the attention on both projects of Pocus Hocus
Right.
and Grandma Chainsaw. So we don't want to rush anything, because we pride ourselves on quality. So not so much from a print standpoint and an art standpoint, but we pride ourselves just as a collective story and
Yeah.
book as a whole. So we always want to make sure that we're taking care of our fans first in that department before we just rush out something that we're not happy with.
And that attention to care and detail obviously shows. We've seen these books come out from you guys, and as someone who goes through a lot of indie comic books nowadays, I think I actually have to read more indies than I do
Mhm.
mainline. You guys are definitely on another level. There's no doubt, and we're seeing that carried over with Grandma Chainsaw and other works you guys are doing. You have the same team with this, right? We have Will Radford as your co-writer.
Mhm.
We've got art by Brian Belando.
Mhm.
If I mess up names, shoot me out.
Yep.
Color by Jason Smith. We've actually spoken to Jason Smith as well,
Mhm.
and letters by Dave Lentz. This core team, same one from Pocus Hocus, correct?
Yes, we didn't change anything at all, because we were definitely under the impression if it isn't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
And not even so much that these guys, they work so hard, and we all just love working together so well. Our group chats are it's awesome because it's just one giant team.
Yes.
If someone doesn't like anything, they voice their opinion, or if they have an idea that we could shift something around, like, believe me, there is no clash of egos. And I think that really shows, because we're just 5 guys just having a blast making comic books.
When when you guys started out this adventure into by the way, guys, just as a reminder, Pocus Hocus, which you guys who have been on the Patreon, those of you guys who are part of Geek Freaks, know how high polished this is. That's your guys' first comic book run.
Yeah, so think about this, and I'm talking to myself here.
Yeah.
Pocus Hocus, we mailed that out after the Kickstarter ended. It was like August of 2021.
Kind of
So
crazy, actually.
yeah, we've been doing this for just a little over a year.
Yeah.
Yep.
That blows my mind. Those of you guys who've actually gotten your hands on these books, that blows your mind up too as well. When you start this adventure out, though, you're shopping for your new artist. You're looking for who you're gonna be able to work with and stuff like that. Now that you're this team unit, when you guys plan new projects, is it much more collaborative, and how much input are you guys working together? How's this working for you guys?
Yeah, it's always been collaborative,
Yeah.
and it's always definitely staying that way. The big thing about the guys are we kind of wanted to stay in a creepy, fun horror, whatever you want, fantasy type environment,
Right.
and we really lucked out by having especially Brian out the gate, because this is what he specializes in and this is
Hmm.
stuff he loves. Like, obviously, you look at his art, you see influences from Hellboy and a lot of
Yeah.
just obscure, like, Junji Ito stuff,
Mhm.
and that's stuff that we all love too. So it was just kind of one of those perfect scenarios where the stars just aligned and we all get it, understand, and just have fun. And the way that Jason's able to change up his coloring style from book to book,
Yeah.
even with Pocus, whenever we enter into new worlds or new zones, like, everything changes there. And with Grandma Chainsaw, he made it look like an old 70s, 80s horror movie
Yeah.
with
You
the
can almost
grainy
feel the
whatever
grain
top.
from
Yeah,
the footage on it, you know?
yeah. And they just, these guys understand the assignment, right? And
Yeah.
it's there's nothing more that I can ask from these guys. It's yeah, it just fantastic work.
So how do you guys, first off, why make a second book, right? And then how do you
Mhm.
approach that?
Yeah. So the second book concept, I remember starting off, and Will and I had the conversation. We said we're not going to start any other projects until the Pocus Hocus story is at a very good stopping point or it's
Hmm.
done. So again, whenever we're starting off, all this stuff is unforeseen. We didn't know that. We thought maybe we would sell 50 copies of Pocus and it'd be fine. It's just a good hobby. And then Pocus Hocus 1 kind of met that expectation, right? But then the transition we had from Pocus 1 to Pocus 2 was insane. We did not expect that at all, because we literally jumped 100 backers on the Kickstarter campaign. And then each one has just grown and grown and grown.
Yeah.
And with Pocus Hocus 3, we finally, or 4, we almost hit the fabled 300 backer mark, but we did hit a new milestone. We made 5 figures on it, which was cool. We made right over
Yeah.
$10,000. So that was like, that blew our minds. That something that we started, not this long ago, could actually do something like this. But we the idea for Grandma Chainsaw came about whenever we were working on Pocus 4. I work in home health, so I have a lot of drive time. And
Hmm.
I just think of all this weird, wacky scenarios, and I'll do, I'll voice to text them so I can save them in my notes and I can tell them the will later, or
Yeah.
even any of the guys. But believe it or not, I have a very soft spot for the geriatric population. I was I was
Nice.
raised by my grandparents,
Yeah.
um, and I was able to kind of take that part of new versus old, and being raised in a house where there is a generational gap.
Hmm.
So you're able to really play off of that and have fun with it, because there's certain things that matter to an older generation that doesn't matter to a younger generation, vice versa.
Right.
It's just kind of, it was really funny to riff off of that. But so we started working on Grandma Chainsaw. I asked the guys if they wanted to do this, and I think that was the fastest yes we got from everybody, especially Dave Lentz, who said
Yeah.
that, he was like, "This is incredible. He can't wait to letter this thing and just go wild with it." But the again, we unforeseen, we diverted a little bit, because we were like, well, listen, let's go ahead and write Grandma Chainsaw. We already had the story beats planned out for the second arc of Pocus Hocus, so it's like, well, we're at a good point. Let's go and just do it. And as a writer, I think it's good to break from your project. I wouldn't have told
Yeah.
myself that a year ago, but I would now, because you need to really step back so you can come back with fresh eyes and a fresh perspective. Because what we had for the beginning of Pocus Hocus 5 or 2-1, however you want to look at it, is not the same as it was whenever we first wrote it. And we're happier for that,
Hmm.
because us taking a step back and writing the script for Grandma Chainsaw 1 and 2, we were able to go ahead and go back in and be like, oh, this actually doesn't work as well as we thought it did.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and change it. Now we're so happy, and the script for Pocus 5 is done, and we're ready to go to Brian now. So it's one of those things. Yeah.
Sort of fresh eyes type of thing like that.
Mhm.
Like, let's kind of refresh the palette a little bit, come back to Pocus. What were a couple of things that you're, I mean, not necessarily story wise, but there was
Mhm.
anything else from that that you're like, at Pocus, we could kind of change this we got from Grandma Chainsaw. Is there anything you could tell us?
Yeah, so storytelling, right?
Okay.
With Grandma Chainsaw, we approached the story differently, because we didn't really need to build a world.
Yeah.
The Grandma Chainsaw takes place, in our real world. We'll just say loosely our world, right? Because
Yeah.
of course there's a lot of crazy stuff that's going to happen in there, but it's relatively grounded, and the situation's relatively grounded. With
Hmm.
Pocus, we're not in a modern era. We're back in Victorian times,
Yeah.
and we're dealing with a lot of fantasy. We're not in this world. We're in different planes in hell. And it was even weird because Grandma Chainsaw, and this we did this on purpose, a lot of the first issue is going to take place just in a house,
Hmm.
Hazel's home. And we were very confined. And it actually proved to be, I don't want to say a challenging write, but different, because we were so used to being able to jump from world to world, introduce this new creature,
Yeah.
introduce this new thing that's going to kind of be our guide, stuff like that. But
Right.
with
Yeah.
this, we had to have the characters be the strength in the center point and not deviate from them or from Hazel. So
Yeah.
it was really cool how we were finding new ways to work around that. And again, because we got to practice our writing skills with 5 characters setting together, and just delivering dialogue and still trying to be fun and creepy and just unexpected, we were able to go back for Pocus Hocus and be like, okay, we can definitely improve this dialogue, or we can improve how we transition from this scene to this scene. So
It's
that's
it's such an
yeah.
interesting point because yeah, if you look, I think it's issue 4 of Pocus, where they go to the tree, and then all of a sudden you have like 3 pages where they're inside that tree,
Mhm.
setting up their next adventure, and then it's like
Yeah.
boom, next adventure. So it reminds me much of like Willow or
Yes.
something
Yeah.
like that. In comparison to this, where you're in almost a bottle episode,
Hmm.
it's all contained in here. All emotions and dialogue have to bounce
Yeah.
off these walls. Let's
Hmm.
make sure that they're as clean as possible, so when we hear them back, they're crisp.
Right.
Um, Boy, I never thought about how different those two writing styles have to
Hmm.
be for you guys.
Yeah, because again, even just writing Pocus 5, it took us a little bit to get back into the mindset whenever we went back through and edited and looked at everything. But it was really cool though, just to see like, okay, cool. So now we can be a little bit more liberal with how we expand and what these characters can do, where they can go, because we're in a world that we are just creating, and they're in this vast open world. So, but
Mhm.
with again, instead of it being like a snow globe, like how Hazel's home is, we're able to really go back and forth, and it's fun. And again, it helps us be able to come up with new, fresh ideas, because both projects are just vastly different.
Yeah. You were mentioning how Dave was excited to get into the lettering for this.
Hmm.
For those that are not too super familiar with comic books, lettering kind of seems like, oh, you're writing down the letters. How does Dave show his creative skills within the lettering field?
Um, Dave is a monster, and
Yeah.
I mean that in the best way possible. Um, his just his pineal gland is not calcified, so his sixth sense kicks in, and this guy just runs with it. Like, you got a chance to see the page of our first kill,
Mhm.
and just the sound effects he uses. It's
Yeah.
just crazy stuff I never thought of. And how he made Hazel's dialogue box scratchy, so
Mhm.
you can just kind of hear an older voice
Yeah.
inside of that. We have a lot more stuff coming up that I can't share with you just yet,
Mhm.
but he really goes above and beyond for what was expected.
Yeah, everything Hazel says, the box is messy a little bit, and then you have like that
Mhm.
the squiggly line to her,
Yes,
which
her
almost you
tail's
could
a
hear
lot
the
longer. Yeah.
yeah, you can
Yep.
almost hear it like just kind of echoing around a little
Mhm.
differently. And it sounds creepier too. It looks
Yep.
creepier, which is such a great tool there.
Mhm.
And then yeah, speaking to you were raised by your grandparents and stuff like that. Is there any sort of, because it feels from the outside just having fun?
Mhm.
What kind of input did you put in this from having being around other people the entire time? Like, is there anything? What I'm trying to say is there anything heartwarming here, or is it
Yeah.
just murders?
So there, and I feel like this holds true a lot when you have things in comedy or dark comedy, however you want to look at it. Whenever there's emotional moments, they always seem to hit the hardest,
Yeah,
right?
of course.
We of course, there you're going to get what you expect. There's going to be some killing. right?
Yeah, yeah.
It's Grandma Chainsaw. It's not going to be just this heartwarming tale of
Grandma
all these
Chainsaw
people.
and
Yeah,
friends.
yeah. So, but we wanted the weight of loss
Yeah.
to really be there. We didn't want to just shoehorn it away and brush it off. And it's like, oh, everything's so funny. We think that having those moments of heart and clarity and just really sobering moments too, right? You
Yeah.
need that. And then of course we could pick back up and keep moving. But with comic books, it's so cool because you can blend so many mediums together and they work a lot more seamlessly than they would in like film or something
Mhm.
like that because of a tonal shift. And a little fun fact I love telling everybody, Hazel is actually named after my great grandma.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's my way of it's my
Hell of an
really weird,
homage.
yeah, my weird twisted way of Grandma Hazel. We just called her Granny
Yeah.
simply, and she was one of the best, most influential women in my life growing up.
Mhm.
She lived to be 100. She was one of those,
Oh, wow.
right? Yeah. She taught nothing but love and respect for everybody, and she was not of her time, and she was just an amazing person. So
Yeah.
I remember whenever I told my grandma, who I call mom. So whenever I was talking to mom about it, I told her, it's like, hey, I want to call our killer in this Hazel after Granny, and she laughed so hard, and that's when I knew that, well, one,
Yeah.
it's my grandma's fault for me being the way that I am, and two, that she gets it.
Yeah.
And she thought it was really cool. So yeah, my grandma is she's definitely a huge influencer, and it's too bad because she always laughs at my jokes. So this is why I am the way that I am.
Yeah. That twisted humor, it's got to come
Yeah.
from somewhere. It's perfect.
Yes. Yep.
And the fact that you're able to find Will and you guys both kind of have the same humor and you guys are able to write together,
Hmm.
that's pretty unique. That's pretty cool.
Yep.
What's Will been up to? I know that last I heard he was acting. Is he's still at it?
No, so that's done for now. We're all just at the holiday slump for work, right?
Okay. Yeah.
I'm trying to get all these patients seen, orders signed by physicians before the new year hits.
Hmm.
Will is he's still working in an art gallery, so they're doing shows and everything. So it's crazy. It's
Yeah.
work. It's just work, right?
Yeah. Will doesn't put enough on Instagram, but every so often he does. And I'm like,
Yeah.
what the hell's his life? Like, what's
Yeah,
he got going on?
he's a busy boy.
Yeah. Okay. So amazing. Obviously, we have the second book and stuff like that. You're getting it out there as fast as you can. Going
Mhm.
back to Pocus Hocus though, when can we expect this to be in stores?
So the rumor right now is going to be, last time we talked, there is a paper shortage, as
Yeah.
everyone knows, and it's
Right.
just because originally we were going to try to come out this year,
Hmm.
but that got pushed back. So it's looking like summer of next year is when Pocus Hocus will be in everyone's hands.
Yeah.
And I do want to notate this too, because it's kind of cool when we really think about it. All the covers that you see on the Kickstarter for Pocus Hocus, Grandma Chainsaw, all those are, God, I never thought I would say these words, are potentially collector's items
Yeah.
because those will not be on comic shelves.
Yeah.
We've already done 4 new covers for Pocus 1 through 4 that Source Point already has. So those are going to be the new ones that are going to be on there.
Yeah. And that's.
Yep.
I mean, as somebody who has a couple of those covers, I'm pretty excited about that.
Yep.
That's pretty cool. They are definitely collectibles. I honestly, hey, look, I'm just throwing this out there.
Mhm.
I'd like to get some signatures on these. I'm just throwing that
Okay.
out there.
Hey, listen, easy
Okay.
peasy, can do. On the
Okay.
next one, you
Good.
got it.
That way, someday when I'm trying to like retire,
Mm.
and I could be selling Alan comics.
Panhandle
Yeah.
these things. Yeah,
Yeah.
like I paid $5 for this. You'll sell it for 6. Yeah.
Okay, so obviously this is even more polished than before. We have some other work that you guys have got going on here, and I just love this story, The
Mhm.
Wandering Man. Can you tell us a little bit about this?
Yeah, the guys over at Bad Bug, they reached out and they asked
Mhm.
if we'd be willing to do a story because they're putting out an anthology that is coming out this Tuesday. We're filming this on the 15th, and it comes out. Their campaign launches on the 18th.
18th. Okay.
So yeah, it's called Roseblood Manor. There's 3 short stories in it, and then 1 frame narrative that kind of links all the stories together.
Mhm.
I believe ours is going to be last in the book, from what I remember on the pre-build for everything. But yeah, Wandering Man. It's about an art collector that kind of gets a little bit more than what he expected.
Yeah.
So it's exact same team from Pocus Hocus again. We just all love working together. But yeah, I went ahead and sent you the 8-page story from it,
Yeah.
and we had a lot of fun writing this. And the guys really delivered. I feel like.
It feels like the not the reboot to Pocus Hocus, but like the more hardcore version. Like,
Yeah.
oh, all of a sudden they're moving to Netflix,
Yeah, yeah,
something
yeah.
like that. So it's a little bit more hardcore. I do like that.
Mm.
It has magical elements, stuff like that. I was also looking at some of the other stories on there. We got Roadkill,
Mhm.
Declined, Mama's Boy. We're gonna include that campaign in the link for this one too. That's Roseblood Manor. It
Yeah.
looks really good. I'm gonna have to grab that. Bad Bug, great company. You guys
Yeah.
started off with them.
Mhm.
We've dealt with them already a few times, and just totally great guys. Okay, so we're looking at the campaign. You're currently in progress already with Grandma Chainsaw. You guys are killing it, but we have stretch goals to reach.
Yes.
Can you tell me about these two stretch goals that I see that are still ready to be unlocked?
Yeah. So, like always, we have a Stephanie Mooney print,
Hmm.
and then the other one is by Ignacio too. So we have two more prints that are getting ready. We already have a magnet that's unlocked.
Yeah,
At the time, again, of recording this, we're at that really volatile stage of the Kickstarter
yeah,
where, like the first 3 days are awesome, and then it's just like slow, and that's
yeah,
when you're losing more money in a day than you're making.
yeah,
So like we actually already hit the stretch goal once, but we had a lot of dropbackers, so
yeah.
we didn't hit it now.
Right.
So we know that the last 24 hours of every campaign, or last 48 hours of every campaign, that's when it's booming again, if not more so than the first 2 days.
Hmm.
So yeah, we were really excited to kind of see where we end, because this is still pacing to be one of our best, which is awesome. And it's just cool to see the people show up for a issue one,
That's the
because
thing, right? Whole new
yeah,
campaign, and they're still showing up. That's impressive.
the Kickstarter community, it's different than what you would see in a shop, right? Like you
Hmm.
go into a shop, you see an issue one, you're like, oh, okay, cool. I want to go and pick this up, see what it's about. You see it on Kickstarter. Uh, Sometimes there's always that level of uncertainty. Is there going to be an issue two? If
Right.
they actually put one out, when will there be an issue two? Is it going to be a year and a half before I even get that? And then by that point, do I even care?
Yeah.
So that's why we're always trying to stay busy,
Yeah.
because we pride ourselves on being able to deliver in a timely fashion, even if that means we're working on multiple things at once. So Wandering Man, for example, we did that in the middle of this campaign. The guys just we diverted all attention over to it, and now Grandma Chainsaw only has 2 pages left, so it's probably going to be done before the campaign ends. So
Yeah.
yeah, we're hoping that that night, once it finishes, the campaign's done, the dust settles a little bit, we'll be able to send it out as soon as possible.
Side perk too, it's an
Mhm.
established team,
Yep.
because there's been so many times where it's like, well, I got this rider from this place from Fiverr or something like that,
Yeah.
and so you're like, well,
I
or
went on
not necessarily
Reddit.
rider, but
That's the worst you want to hear. I went
right,
on Reddit, found the
yeah,
guy.
on Reddit, yeah, ooh. And so we're like, I'm hoping he could show up for episode two, and I've seen it
Mhm.
where we change artists or something like that halfway through this race, and you're like, it's just not the same feel, and
Yeah.
so you guys have this team, so everything that comes from you guys actually start like a named company. I'm just throwing that out there.
We did. We already
Oh, what's
did.
the name of the company? What
Yeah.
is it?
Top Hat Studios.
Top Hat Studios, freaking perfect.
Yeah,
Of
so
course.
we have our Substack going right now too. And it's called the Top Hat Studios .substack.com or whatever it is. Someone already had Top Hat Studios, so I
Oh,
had to put
bastards.
the in front of it.
Yeah.
So I need to find that guy and be like, just
There's a
give
reason
it
if
to
you guys
me.
need to email me, it's at the Geek
Get it.
Freaks
Yeah.
Podcast.
So yeah, the Substack has been a way for us to engage in our audience
Yeah.
and keep everyone kind of in the know on what's going on, because I feel like we didn't think that we needed one, but after we talked to a lot of people that have been doing Kickstarters for a while, it's kind of cool to see, because they're like, yeah, the email list is really the best way to do it,
Yeah.
because you get buried
That's right.
in social media algorithms and everything
Hmm.
like that. But once you do something direct like that, that's when you'll have your best results. So that's what we've been kind of really gearing toward. And then we get to have fun. Like the one before the one we released, we got to talk about our favorite horror movies. This one, we talked about all of our influences. Dave, our letterer, one of his influences was actually Microsoft Word. So that was really cool to see that.
I'm signing up for it right now, by the way. As we're
Okay.
talking, I just noticed that you emailed me from that. There it is.
Yep.
Confirmation. I am part of Top Hat Studios email list.
The
Score.
Top Hat
The
Studios.
Top Hat
Done.
Studios. I don't know. This other guy's got some interesting stuff too. No.
Yeah.
That is cool. Yeah, I've been actually thinking about doing anyways, yeah, simple, but that's
Yep.
pretty cool. I love that.
Mhm.
That's cool. All right, so let's go ahead and go back into Grandma Chainsaw. People, how much longer do we have on this campaign?
As of right now, we have 5 days. This campaign
5
ends
days.
on Thursday at 10 o'clock Eastern, p.m.
Okay.
10 p.m. Eastern. Yeah.
That's why this episode comes out a couple days early, guys, so that you guys have a chance to get in there, start, click, buy away. I personally want to see this thing get up another 2K, and I think we could really do that. We got to push that out there. Watch the video. I got to say that. Your guys' video game is freaking cool. Who's doing your guys' videos?
So it's a guy, his name is Jared Matthew Dahl, and he is from this company called Prevalent Mind Studios.
Prevalent Minds, okay.
Yeah, he's done our Pocus one, the Grandma Chainsaw one. It's nothing against the Pocus one. We love it. But the Grandma Chainsaw one is just kind of one of those, it's just on another level.
The voice work. Ooh,
yeah.
man.
Yeah, he did fantastic. And then whenever you go to the Roseblood page, once that's live on Tuesday, he did the trailer for that one as well.
Okay.
Yep.
So below, I'm going to link off to the campaign, to the video, to Roseblood, to Top Hat.
To everything.
So you guys can get on everything. I'm telling you, click.
Yeah.
Let us know. We're going to retweet everybody who says that they backed to this campaign. We're going to push this thing up another 2K. Now, this is beyond the fact that, this is just a normal interview, yada, yada, yada. Kickstarter, here we go. Alan, you've been on the show a few times. We love you guys, and we want to see this campaign do well. So we're doing this as friends.
Yes,
and so do that as listeners. You guys are going to help us out on this one. Only a couple more days, man. I can't believe it's already only a couple more days.
Dude, it's wild. So that was something that we talked about too, because we try to run these campaigns every 30 days or for 30 days at a time. Yeah. We talked about maybe doing, because we see a lot more creators doing 21-day campaigns.
Yeah.
And I think that really helps with the lull period. So that's something we maybe talked about for Pocus 5, just to kind of test it out.
It's scary though.
Yeah, it is, right? So it's like if you ran it for 60 days, there's still stuff that you missed out on, right? So you just you never know. So we thought maybe if we shortened it down a little bit, it cuts out some of the lull period. But that's totally up in the air, and we have a couple months to decide, because Pocus 5, at the rate these guys are going, will probably be ready to launch, I would say, end of November, middle of December. But we don't want to launch around then, because that's like the unwritten rule. You don't do that on Kickstarter. You don't launch during the holiday.
yeah, it's a bad move.
We'll make $6 and be like, all right, well, we'll retry it in January, I guess.
But that's nice though, because when January comes around, you guys are going to be locked and loaded, ready to go. Also, I mean, of course, take a break during the holidays, but you can get work done. That's how I am. Like, oh yeah, everybody's taking a break. Sure, I'm actually working behind the scenes, doubling down on everything while I can.
Yeah, we're always thinking of stuff. We already have our Kit Wallace variant cover for Pocus Hocus number 5, and we already have our Kit Wallace variant cover for Grandma Chainsaw 2.
Yeah,
we're just already planning ahead, making everything move. So
the variants for Grandma Chainsaw, there's one in particular I really liked, the one by Ryan Kincaid. That's just like, man, that is clean looking. I mean, all the artwork is really good, but just this one where she's kind of got it on her back like that.
Yeah, it looks like her nice church photo, right?
Yeah, I kind of thought it was like almost like a bombshell, like like you'd see on the side of a plane, something like that. Like, oh man, it looks good.
So Ryan drew the pins and inks for that, and our colorist Jason, he colored that.
Yeah.
So those guys together, man. Jason put the really cute, really cool focal point on it too, so you have some blur in it and everything.
Yeah, I didn't realize that, but yeah, the chains in the background are blurred out and stuff. Awesome work, guys. Okay, again, click around on the bottom. Make sure you guys follow everything, and we'll follow up on this. We'll let you guys know how the campaign went. Thank you very much again for joining me today, Alan.
Hey, anytime. I will probably be back here in a couple months. So.
Yeah. And then Geek Freaks Interviews is coming back in January, guys, but each month until then, we're going to be releasing one of our classic interviews that used to be back on the old show. So you guys will constantly be hearing something from us just once a month, and then we'll be full steam ahead. We already have 2 months booked up in January and February, so we'll see you guys then. I know it never ends. All right, take it easy. Bye.
See you.